Shimon Beno, so Shimon, his son, says, Kol Yamei Gadalti Ben Chachamim. All of my life I grew amongst the Chachamim. I lived amongst the Chachamim and I grew. Velo Motsasi Laguf Tov Elishtika. I never found anything good for a body other than silence. Velo HaMidrash Hu HaIker. And the Midrash, the explanation is not the main thing. Ela HaMaisa. Right? This kind of fits back to the preceding Mishnah. It's not the explanation. It's not the talking. It's the doing. Get out there and do it, right? And the more you increase speech, the more you bring sin. You know, it's very difficult. We live in an era of words, right? The whole, how many radio stations do you have? How many talk radio stations do you have? How many TV stations do you have? How many blogs do you have? It is almost impossible. There's just not enough to say. Right? If you've got to sit and talk for 24 hours, there are not enough nice things to say before you have to start dumping in nonsense and hate and lashon hara and bitterness and brutality. Because also, once you talk too much, no one wants to listen. Shimon says, you have to grow. Right? This is a guy, he's the son of Rabban Gamliel. Right? He grew up sleeping on the floor of the Sanhedrin. He grew up with the Gedolim as his companion, right? And he watched and he learned, and he says, what's the secret? What's the secret of growing? Is it depth, right? Is it hours put in? Is it what's the secret? He says, all my days I lived my whole life amongst the Chachamim, watching them to see what's really the most important thing. What is it that a body needs, physically even? What's going to, right? And he says, shtika, silence. Says most people are absolutely terrified of silence. Right? You put them in an empty room. Try driving with your car radio off and find that every 30 seconds you're reaching out to turn it on because you can't handle being alone. Try being awake at night with thoughts. Right? Most people can't take silence. They can't take thinking. They can't take looking at themselves or contemplating themselves. They can't take sitting in a room listening to someone else teach. Right? They can't be, you see it with kids. Anything you say, they got to have the last word. They've got to have a response. They've got to be part of the conversation, right? It's got to be me, bubbling forth. He says, you want to grow? Silence. Listen. Learn. Think. Right? There's a place in your life, he says, for quiet. To just let ideas in. Right? To get away from it and just let it percolate. It's so hard with, my cell phone rings every 3 minutes, and every 2 minutes it goes doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo, and it's another email. And you can't get anything done in your life. Because no matter where you go, someone was saying to me today, he's in the 60s, right? You worked in an office, you said to your secretary, I'm going to a meeting, and you walked out, and for the next 5 hours, no one can find you. You're done. You got no cell phone, you got no pager, you got no anything, you're done. You're out of connection. Right? You go in a room and close the door, you can think. We can't think anymore. There's no time in our life that's quiet. There's no time in our life that you can it's one of the beauties of Shabbos. I'm done. I can think about what my life is. Shimon Beno says, if you want to understand life, if you want to grow, growing doesn't come from talking. Growing doesn't come from you always being out there. Growing means sit amongst Hachamim and listen and be quiet and see where the world goes.